Okay, so let's get into the grade 11, unit number 1, grade and supporting services, past paper questions. So from this particular chapter, approximately for your exam, so this is one of the biggest chapter that you have in your O-level syllabus. For your O-level exam, approximately you'll be getting like 12 marks from this particular chapter. So we'll start discussing the past paper questions. So you can see the number of questions which is there for a year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 MCQ questions and one paper 2 question, certain areas of the paper 2 question. So I'll give you maybe how many minutes? I'll give you maybe 10 minutes, not 10 minutes, 7 minutes. I'll give you 7 minutes. Start doing the questions. First you try it. So you can use the tute, you can refer the tute. Then we'll discuss one by one. Start doing. Okay, first we'll discuss the paper 1 questions. Then I'll give you few more minutes for you to try the paper 2 questions. Following are some services provided by a bank, by banks. Out of them, services provided only to a current account holder. Only to a current account holder. So current account holders are getting certain benefits from the bank. What are the benefits like issuing checks, issue checks, and giving standing order, and getting bank statement, and getting overdraft, getting overdraft. So these are certain benefits given for a person who is having a current account. So what are the answers? Operating standing orders, granting bank overdraft facility. No, this is wrong. So overdraft facilities are granted by the bank. Maintaining fixed deposits. So providing electronic cash related services. So your correct answer, we can go for the first one. Following are some services provided by banks. Out of them, a service provided only to a current account. We can take the OD facility also. Granting bank overdraft facilities, yes. That is also correct. We cannot say it's wrong. So I would say rather than the option 1, option 2 is a better answer. Rather than the option 1. Next. Kapila, who is a current account holder of People's Bank and has issued a check to Sapumal, who is a current account holder of Bank of Ceylon. So Kapila has issued a check. So he has issued a People's Bank check, no, because he is having an account in the People's Bank. So when he is writing a check, he will write it from his bank account. Select the answer which shows the drawer. Drawer means the person who is writing the check. So who is writing the check? Kapila. Drawer. The next one they are asking the pay. Pay means the person who is receiving the check. Who is receiving the check? Sapumal. Pay. So drawer Kapila, pay Sapumal. So you have another one, drovee. What is drovee? That is People's Bank. In this question, they are not asking. Drovee is the bank of the person who is writing the check. Bank of the person who is writing the check. He is writing a People's Bank check. So that part is not there in this question. Kapila and Sapumal, it is there in the 4th option. 9th one, the answer is the 4th option. Next. Question number 10. The motor vehicle of Disanayaka, which was insured in Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation, met with an accident while being driven by Bandara, who is driver of Disanayaka. Select the answer that shows the first party, second party, and the second party of the insurance. So first party is the person who has the insurance, owner of the insurance. Second part is the insurance company. Third part is any other, the passengers or the object. So first part is the owner. Who is the owner? Motor vehicle of Disanayaka. Disanayaka's vehicle is driven by the driver. For us, driver doesn't matter. Bandara doesn't matter. For us, Disanayaka is the person who matters. So Disanayaka is the first person. Sri Lanka Insurance Company is the second part. Disanayaka and Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation, it's there in the answer number 1. Next. Out of the following, select the correct statement with regarding to the feedback of a communication process. They're asking as the feedback. So in a communication process, you have a sender, then you have a message, then you have a medium, then you have a receiver, then you have the response, then finally you have the feedback. So I took an example in the class. Your mom is asking you to come and eat. Okay. Maybe she is sending a WhatsApp message to you. So sender is mom. Medium, she is sending through the mobile, electronic, written electronic. Then the message is come and eat. That's a message, content. Receiver is you. Once you see this message, you are getting up from the bed. That is the response. When you are replying your mom saying, okay, mom, I'll come. That is the feedback. So here they're asking the feedback. Feedback is the response received by the receiver from the sender via an oral or non-oral medium. Feedback is the response received by the sender. So feedback is the response received by not the receiver. That is outlook. Feedback is something finally which is going to the sender. And feedback is not compulsory in the complete communication process out. Feedback is the response received by a sender from the receiver via an oral or non-oral medium. Feedback is the way of the sender acts regarding, that is response. This is response. How he is acting. So second one is the answer. Next. Select the answer which shows example for the element of transportation of a vessel which transports goods. Vessel means lamai, which is the ship. A ship which is carrying these big items. The people who are importing or exporting to other countries, which is coming the sea. So what is the terminal? It is the harbor, not port. Okay. And it is a waterway. That's the way, which is the road, the way. So first one, it's not port airways, it's out. Diesel port main roads, it's out. Water, airport, diesel, that is also out. Diesel, waterway, ports. So that's the correct answer. Fourth one is the correct answer. Now let's move to the question 13. Following are few occasions in which a trade took place. Purchasing of 200 kilos of rice by Sunil for giving a free food stall. The answer. Selling bakery products to a canteen. So here they are asking about a retail trader. So what's the difference between wholesale and retail trade? In retail trade, the final sale will happen for the end consumer, end user in the retail trade. In the wholesale trade, the trade or the sale is not happening to the end consumer. That is also probably another business. So that business is going to sell for another party. So wholesale trade is this. This is the wholesale trade. So if I show it as a small flow chart, I show it as a small flow chart. You are doing a trade here. And here you have a business. This business is not using that title. This business is going to sell it to another person. End user, end consumer. End consumer. So here two trades happen. You will assume you have the farm. So this farm is selling some carrots to this business. This business is selling some carrots to the end consumer. So here one trade is happening, here one trade is happening. The trade which is happening here, farmer to the whatever the wholesale, whatever the supermarket. So it is, they are not selling it to the end consumer for another business. That is wholesale trade. Wholesale. Here we are selling the product to the end consumer. That is the retail trade. We are selling it to the end consumer. So now you have to see out of the three scenarios, which one is the transaction which is getting sold to the end consumer. Purchasing 200 kilos of rice to Sunil to give a dancer. Yes. Selling bakery products to a canteen. No. Selling bakery products to a canteen, canteen only will sell to the end user. Selling bakery products to canteen is not retail. Canteen only will sell to the end user. So here it is a wholesale thing. That is out. Then next one. So if that's the case, your answer should be A and C. No. Selling 500 bricks by a bricks producer, Sujata, who is building her own house. Sujata is building her own house. Sujata is building her own house. So she is the end consumer of the item. So that is a retail trade. A and C is there in the second option. It is there in the second option. So now you all can start trying the paper 2. I'll give you maybe 2-3 minutes. Quickly write. Okay, let's do it. So first, what are they asking? What is a trade? Very simple. Trade is buying and selling goods and services. Trade is buying and selling goods and services. So they're asking us to write two auxiliary services which provide assistance or help to the business. So we learn four. What are the four? Banking, insurance, communication, transportation. Out of those four, you can write any two. Banking, insurance, communication, and transportation. Out of those four, you can write any two. Next, they are asking you to mention whether it is true or false. In insurance, the party who received the insurance cover is termed as insured, while the party who provide the insurance cover is called as insurer. Yes, correct. That is what insured and the insurer is. That's a true statement. B. Transmitting message, information, and ideas among the different people in an organization. In an organization. Inside the organization means it is internal communication. In an organization, no. That is internal communication. So external communication is wrong. False. Next up. Purchasing required food by a student from a school canteen is no. Student is buying the food to him or to her to eat. So canteen is selling to the end consumer. That is not a wholesale trade. That is a retail trade. False. Drawee of a check is always a commercial bank. Yes. So three parties are there. No? Drawer is the bugger who is writing the check. Drawee, this buggers, the person who is writing the checks, his bank account, his bank current account. From which current account that he is writing the check. So it should be a bank, drawee. Pay is the bugger who is receiving the check. So drawee always it should be a commercial bank. Commercial bank means not that blue color commercial bank. Commercial bank means a bank which is licensed in the central bank who is allowing you to open fixed deposit, savings account, and current accounts, and which is helping the businesses. True. Next up. An insurance company has informed through a letter to the owner of the business that they are paying 200,000 of a compensation for a damage occurred by a sudden fire in the storage of the business. Write the sender message mode and the receiver. So who is sending the message? Insurance company, no. Sender is the insurance company. Insurance company. What's the message? Message is they are paying 200,000 compensation for the damage. They are paying 200,000 compensation for the damage. Then the third one, the medium. Medium, if not, we'll call it as mode also. Medium, we'll call it as mode also. So how are they sending the message? Through a letter. Letter means written form. Written form. Written. Then finally they are asking the receiver. Who is the receiver? Owner of the business. They are sending it to the owner of a business. Receiver. Receiver. Owner of the business. Owner of the business. Done. Now let's move to the next one, fourth one. Sapumal comes to school daily by train. Write an example for each transportation element related to the transportation method that Sapumal used to come to school. So they are asking us to write the element. So under the element, we learn four. You should know the way, you should know the mode, and you should know the power, and you should know the terminal. So what's the way? Railway. Railway. What is the mode? That's the train. What is the power? Maybe diesel. Diesel or coal. What is the terminal? That means the stop. Railway station. Railway station. B. Name the government institute which provide the railway transportation service in Sri Lanka. So it's the Sri Lanka Railway Department. Sri Lanka Railway Department. Done. Now do the 2017 questions. First try the paper one questions. I'll give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll give you 5 minutes. Try the paper one questions, then we'll move to the paper two ones. Now let's do the 2017 paper 1 questions. Then we'll move to the paper 2 ones. Following is a MICR, magnetic ink character recognition. So what are they asking? They're asking the A and C represent what? A and C represent what? So A is very simple. A is the check number. This is the check number. B is the bank number. Each bank has a number. C is the branch number. Branch. D is the account number. So they're asking A and C. Check number and branch number is there in the third option. Check number and branch number is there in the third option. Next one. A cross-check received in Sepala's name was rejected by the bank officer when it was presented to deposit on his current account, which is there in the People's Bank. People's Bank of Gold. So People's Bank of the Gold has rejected his check. People's Bank of the Gold has rejected his check when he presented to deposit it. So this is a general crossing. General crossing, you can deposit to any bank. This is also general crossing. General crossing, you can deposit it to any bank. This is a special crossing. So special crossing should go to that bank only. Special crossing should go to that bank only. So this check also you can deposit if there is a cross like this. Here special crossing with the name Bank of Ceylon. So when you have a special crossing with the name of Bank of Ceylon check, you can't go and put it inside the People's Bank. Bank of Ceylon check, you have to put it to the Bank of Ceylon. So this is the answer. That's why they have rejected. Because Bank of Ceylon one should go to the Bank of Ceylon, not for the People's Bank. 10th one. Sadun has insured his motor vehicle, which is valued 1 million, to the same amount. In an accident, 400,000 worth damage occurred to the motor vehicle. Sadun claimed 1 million as the compensation for the damage from the insurance company. How much is the insurance compensation Sadun will receive from the insurance company? So Sadun will receive only 400,000. Reason? There are 3 principles which is there in insurance. First one is the interest, insurable interest. What is insurable interest? The person should have an interest over the item that he is taking insurance. Or should be able to take an insurance over the item. That will be life insurance, property insurance. What is the second principle? Second principle we studied. Both the parties should tell the truth. Faithfulness should be there. And third one, principle of indemnity. The principle of indemnity is not there for the life insurance. It's there only for the property insurance. In principle of indemnity, where the compensation is given only for the damage value. For a life, there is no value. The principle of indemnity is not applicable for the life insurance, only for the property. So here, if the damage is only 400,000, he should receive only 400. Not a single rupee more than that. Next one. An email is internal, electronic, verbal. No. Email is not verbal. No. Email is written. Email is written communication. External, electronic, verbal is out. It's not signed. So this is also ideally a wrong answer. It can be internal or external. An email is an internal or external electronic written communication method. It can be internal, it can be external. Within the company also you can send emails. No? So we have to proceed with the most accurate one. So your answer is the fourth. Question number 12. While the Colombo Port City, not Port City, Colombo Port. Colombo Port is the terminal. No? The terminal of element of transportation. The Nevasaka Lady ship which arrived at the Colombo port is, so ship has arrived. The ship has arrived. So ship is the mode actually. Mode. Mode means the item which is carrying the object. Object which is carrying the whatever the items. If it is a bus, bus is the object. It is the mode. If it is train, train is the mode. If it is ship, ship is the mode. If it is car, car is the mode. Object which is carrying all the items. So terminal and mode is there in the second option. For the 12th one, answer is the second. Question number 30. A wholesale trade. Again, I am telling wholesale trade means what? One business is selling to another business. That business only will sell to the end consumer. If a business is selling to the end consumer, that is retail. Not it is wholesale. Selling 100 milk packets by a milk bar to a elephants in Udawalawa Elephant Orphanage. So they are telling it to giving it to the Udawalawa Elephant Orphanage to give it to the final consumer. Elephant can't come and bloody buy the items. So orphanage will buy and give it to the end consumer. So elephants and orphanage are not two different things, same thing. So it is the end consumer. These are retail trade. Selling peanuts by Radha to a passenger in a train. So that passenger will eat the peanuts. So that's a retail trade. Retail. Selling 100 roofing tiles by a factory to Bhatia for his house. So he is the final consumer. Retail. Selling flowers in a small scale by Malit to a flower shop. Flower shop is buying the flowers from Malit, and that flower shop will sell it to the end consumer. So here they are not doing the sale directly to the end consumer. One business is selling to another business. That business only will sell to end consumer. So this is wholesale. Your answer is the fourth one. So I'll give you another 2-3 minutes. Try the paper 2 questions. Try the paper 2 questions. Okay, let's do it. What is a check? Very simple. Check is a written document. It's a written document given by a current account holder to a commercial bank mentioning make the payment for the name mentioned on the document or for the person who brings it. So this is the complete task. A check is a written document. It's a written document given by a current account holder telling to a bank. Current account holder is telling to a bank, give money for the name which is mentioned in the check or for the person who is bringing the check. Simple as that. The name which is mentioned in the document, if not the person who is bringing that document, which is the check. Simple as that. Understand this. Understand. Second one, what are they asking? Two principles of insurance. So I told you three things are there. What are three things? Again, I am reminding. First one, insurable interest. Second one, utmost good faith. Third one, principle of indemnity. Out of these three, you can write any two that you want. Out of these three, you can write any two that you want. Okay, next. State whether the following statements are true or false. A bank which lends money on jewelry can insure the pawned jewelry. A bank which lends money on jewelry can insure the pawned jewelry. Yes, possible. Because they are keeping with them, no? Huh? They should have a security for the jewelries that they have in, no? If not, if they lose it, it will be a big risk for them. So they can take insurance against that. True. The feedback is not essential. Feedback is essential for the complete communication process. False. The permission given by the bank to withdraw money exceeding the balance of the savings. Not the savings account, nilamai. Exceeding the balance of the current account of the business. Not the savings. False. A country bringing in products from another country. When we bring products from another country, that is import trade. When we send product to other countries, that is export trade. So bring in means import. So this is wrong. Question number 3. Business activities become efficient by expanding the Colombo port. Colombo port. So name the element of transaction that they are talking about. Terminal. Colombo port is the terminal. Terminal. Next one. Sumatipala purchases potatoes in large scale from Ramachandran. Sumatipala is there. Sumatipala is getting from Ramachandran. Okay. A potato farmer in Jaffna. So Sumatipala is getting from Ramachandran. a potato farmer in Jaffna, and sells them to PL, who is a trader in a weekly fair. So he is selling to PL. PL is a trader again. He is selling the items in the fair. And Sumana, who sells vegetables, trade in weekly fair. And to Sumana are PL and Sumana. PL and Sumana for both, who sells vegetable to the consumer by keeping in front of her house. So here see, first one, Sumatipala purchases potatoes from a large scale from Ramachandran. So Ramachandran is giving to Sumatipala and sells them to Piyala, who is a trader in weekly fair, and to Sumana, who sells vegetables to the consumer by keeping in front of her house. So these two people are selling to the end consumer. These two people are selling to the end consumer. End bug, end fellow. Name a wholesaler and retailer included in this business. So wholesalers, I told you clearly, retailers are the parties who are selling to the end consumer. Retailers are the parties who are selling to the end consumers. So who are the parties selling to the end consumers? PL and Sumana. That is retailer. PL and Sumana, retailers. Okay. So if you take Ramachandran, if you take, who is this? Sumatipal. So these people are not doing retail trade. They are doing wholesale trade. So here, Sumatipal. So let me go through the scenario again, not to miss out anything. Sumatipal purchases potatoes from large scale from Ramachandran, who is a potato farmer in Jaffna, and sells them to PL, who is a trader in weekly fair, and to Sumana, who sells vegetables to a consumer who is keeping and selling them in front of our house. Okay. So Sumatipala and Ramachandran, those are wholesale traders. Why those are wholesale traders? Because they are not selling to an end consumer. They are selling it to another business. Next. So simply you ask a question from yourself when you get these kind of questions. Are they selling to end consumer? If they are selling to end consumer, it is retail. If they are selling it to another business in order to sell it to the end consumer, that is wholesale. Taranga Pereira, who conducts a textile business, issued a check on 1st October 2017 for rupees 8,500 to Gamini Silva for purchasing of stock. Format of the check is given. Okay. So what are they telling? Selecting the above case, write the information that should be there in A, B, C, D. So A should be the date, 1st October 2017. B is the bugger who is receiving the check. B is the bugger who is receiving the check. So Taranga, who running a textile business, issued a check, giving a check to Gamini. So here we have to write Gamini Silva's name. Gamini Silva. We have to write the Gamini Silva's name. And see people, the amount in words. The amount in words. 8,500. 100 only. So here also we will write the amount in numbers like this. And D is the place where you have to sign. Taranga, Taranga. So D, Taranga signature simply. Taranga's signature. Simple as. State the drawer and drawee. So drawer is the bugger who is writing the check. Who is writing the check? Taranga Pereira. Drawer. Taranga Pereira. And they're asking the drawee. Drawee is the Taranga Pereira's bank. What is the bank of Taranga Pereira? BOC, no? He's writing a check of BOC. Drawee. BOC. Done. So do the 2018 one. First do the MCQs. After that, we'll move to the paper 2 questions. I'll give you 5 minutes. Quickly do. Yeah, paper 1 questions. First, do the paper 1 questions, then we'll do the paper 2. Problem, no? out. So case is not given. Skip that. Skip that and do the remaining. So we will discuss. We'll discuss. 2018. Question number 8. Answer the question 8 and 9 using the following case. Subhash Kaviratna, who has a current account at BOC, issued a check for 100,000 to a client, Deepal Divakari. Deepal Samara Divakari. And Deepal Samara Divakari has encashed it at the bank's counter. Select the answer which shows the draw V. Draw V means bank. I told you. Pay is the bugger who received the check. Who receiving the check. So it's a BOC check. So BOC bank is the draw V. Who is receiving the check? Deepal Samara whatever. Divakare. So the answer is the first one. Question number 9. The check issued in the above case. So what you have to understand, when you go to a bank, when you give the check over the counter and you can get money means that check doesn't have a crossing. That check does not have a crossing. You can, if you have a crossing, I told you, you have to put it to the bank account and only you have to take money. Not through the cashier counter. From the counter you can't take if it is crossed. If it is not crossed, give the check to the counter, get the money. So it doesn't have a crossing. Question number 10. While the first party of the insurance is known as insured, the second party is known as the insurer, insurance company. So that's there in the second one. Question number 11. Non-electronic, not electronic. This is a signboard. This is a signboard. So 11th one, answer is the 4. 12. Select X and Y. Island-wide expansion of 1990 ambulance service. Commence in the construction of Northern Expressway. Renovation of Central Bus Stand in Peta. Adjusting the oil prices based on the crude oil prices in the world market. So we'll start from here. This is power. Fourth one is C. Renovation of the Central Bus Stand of Peta is a terminal. Bus stand, no. Bus stand, train station, airport, harbor, if not the port, all these are terminals. D. Commencing a construction of a Northern Expressway. So you are putting a new roadway. You are putting a new roadway. New road. A. You are increasing the number of ambulance. You are increasing the number of vans. Ambulance vans. That is the mode. BADC. It's there in the third option. BADC is there in the third option. Okay. Paper 2. Start doing. I'll give you 5 minutes. Okay, let's do. So what is a retail business? Again and again, I told you, retail business where you are selling to the end consumer. Selling products and services to the end consumer. End consumer. Next. Name two types of accounts in commercial banks. Commercial banks. You can have savings accounts. You can have fixed deposit accounts. You can have current accounts also. In commercial banks, you can have current accounts also. Okay. Question number 2. The main difference between retail and wholesale trade is the business is intention of the buyer. Yes. If buyer is buying in the expectation of consuming it, retail. If the buyer is buying in the expectation of selling it for someone else, wholesale trade. True. Next one. A check with special crossing can be deposited in a current account in any commercial bank. No, I told you, special crossing, you got to go for the bank which is mentioned in the crossing. While the risk in the property insurance is certain, risk in the life insurance is not certain, uncertain. So this one we can say up to some extent, okay, life insurance is uncertain. But risk in property insurance, we can't be certain. It is also uncertain. False. The act of the sender is regarding the message is the response. No. In the communication process, the act of the sender in regarding the message in the communication, the act of the sender, sender's act in regarding the message in the response in the communication process. Is the response in the no. Response is not the act of the sender. It's the act of the receiver. Receiver. False. Third one. Saranga is a batik producer. A stock of batik designed to Ramesh in Singapore by air. Saranga sent a stock of batiks to Ramesh in Singapore by air. Name the importer and exporter. So Saranga's items he is sending to Singapore. Saranga is sending. So Saranga is the exporter. Ramesh is getting an item from other country. Getting an item from other country. He is the importer. He is the importer. Next one. State examples of element in transportation, the way and the mode. What is the way? Airway. Airway. What is the mode? Plane anything. Plane when no. Aeroplane, it's not plane. Aeroplane. Fourth one. Vimal's 2 million valued Vimal's vehicle. Vimal's vehicle. So Vimal should be the first part. Insured at Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation. Insurance company is the insurer, no? Who is the second party? on the same value met with an accident caused 500,000 damage and made small injuries to Sunimal. Sunimal is some other party working on the payment. So he's the third party. Third. Here I have written all three. Yeah. Vimal is the first party. Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation is the second party. Sunimal is the third party. State the value of claim that Vimal could receive. So Vimal can receive only 500,000 because that's the value of the damage. As per the principle of indemnity, they can get the value only of the damage value, not the total. 500. Done. The last one, 2019. I'll give you a couple of minutes. Quickly try. Okay, let's do Rasikar, who does not any bank account, paid the fuel bill of his motor car using an electronic card, the card that he is using. Debit card should have an account, generally a saving account. Should have because debit card is connected to account. Set are ATM cards ATM cards should be connected to an account. But credit card, for you to have credit cards, no need to have an account, because credit card means you are using bank's money. And later you have to settle it to the bank. Later you have to settle it to the bank. You are not required to have an account for it. So credit card is the answer. Question number 9. Ranga, who has a current account in People's Bank, issued a check of 8,000 to Kapila. Ranga is giving the check. Then he is the drawer. Drawer. Kapila is the bugger who is receiving the check. Who is the payee? People's Bank check only he is giving. So that's the drovee. Drovee. So drawer, payee, drovee. Drawer, payee, drovee is there in the third option. 10th one. Vasana, who runs a garment factory, obtained a loan to build her house, securing one of her insurance policies. To obtain the loan, Vasana used. So, generally, you can obtain a loan by keeping an insurance policy as a security. It should be a life insurance policy, not a property insurance policy. It should be a life insurance policy. If you want to take a loan by showing the insurance as a security, it should be a life insurance. Next one. Select the situation that indicates the internal verbal electronic communication. Internal verbal electronic. Principal addresses the morning assembly using the loudspeaker. Principal is addressing the students and teachers inside the school. Inside the school means internal. He is using his mouth, verbal, and he is using loudspeaker, electronic. So this is the correct answer. The production manager calls supplier. Supplier is not inside, the supplier is outside. The class teacher sends letters to parents. Parents are not inside the company, no parents, not company, school. Parents are outside there. Marketing manager sends email to customers. Customers are not inside the company. Customers are outside. 12th. Select the statement that includes an example for mode, an element of transportation. Mode. Mode means the car or the bus or the van or the lorry or the aeroplane or the train. That one they ask. Extending southern coastal railway line. So here they are increasing the way, a railway increase. Way. Extending the southern expressway. Again, it's a way increase. Opening a multimodal transport hub in Kottava. So it's a new terminal. Opening a new terminal. Commencing a luxury express train. Starting a train. Starting a new train to Colonna. Putting a new train to Colonna. So that is the 12th one answer is the next one. Select the statement that shows a retail if you are selling to the end consumer. Purchasing 2 cakes to a canteen. No, canteen only will sell to the end consumer. Here you can't see a retail trade. Selling a wall craft to Luxala by batik producer. So Luxala only will sell to the end consumer. So batik producer selling to Luxala is not retail trade. It is wholesale. Selling 200 kilos of rice exact sports club for their annual dansala. Annual dansala directly they will eat it. So that's the correct answer. Selling an almirah to a furniture shop. So furniture shop will sell to the end consumer. So that is also wholesale trade. So the correct answer is the third. 13 correct answers to that. Next. I'll give you 2 minutes. A few minutes, quickly try. Okay, let's do. What is a commercial bank? So if you have these words, if you have written in your own words, you will get marks. First one, you have to tell it is an institute. Institutes. Commercial banks are institutes which helps businesses and individuals by providing different banking services and keeping savings accounts, fixed deposit accounts, and current account. So these three things should be there. These are institutes helping the businesses and individuals with different services. And third one, they are maintaining savings accounts, fixed deposits, and current accounts. Current accounts you have to mention. Okay. And the next one. Right two factors should be considered when selecting a communication method. So you can write a lot. Speed, appropriateness, and the cost, and the usability or convenience, accessibility. These are certain things where you can write. Speed, cost, usability, convenience, accessibility. True or false? Utmost good faith, the principle of insurance relevant only for the property insurance. So, utmost good faith is relevant for the life insurance as well as property insurance. Utmost good faith means what? Telling the truth. Insurance company also have to tell. That means insured also have to tell everything. Open and transparent. Let it be life insurance, let it be property insurance, it's there. Only principle of indemnity is not there for life insurance because life doesn't have a value. So that's a false statement. C. Communication is exchanging information only among the external. Not only external, no, it can be internal also. Selling local products by a country to a foreign country or countries is known as export trade. Yes, correct. To other countries is export. Next. A check of 200,000 with special crossing has been issued to Sri Lanka Telecom, who owns a current account in People's Bank, by Sri Lanka Port Authority, who owns a current account in the Ceylon Bank. So Port Authority has a current account in Ceylon, Bank of Ceylon. No? Bank of Ceylon. What is the auxiliary service given by the Port Authority? What is the auxiliary service that they are giving? It is connected to the transportation. Sri Lanka Telecom communication or supporting service. According to the above case, indicate how the check should be issued by Sri Lanka Port Authority had been crossed. So they are asking how they have to cross the check. How they have to cross the check. So one way that they can cross the check, they can write. So when we are crossing a check lamai, always we have to see when we are going for a special crossing. Always we have to cross the check by writing the name of the person who is having a bank account, the person who is receiving the check, that person's bank account only we have, bank only we have to write, not our banks, not the person who is writing the check, the person who is receiving the check. The person who is receiving the check will have some bank accounts. That bank only we have to write, because you just think and see. I have a checkbook from commercial bank. Sunimal is there. Sunimal is having an account in HNB bank. If I write the check with the special crossing inside the check commercial, Bugger will not be able to take money. Why? He is having money in HNB, no? He is having an account in HNB, no? So if I cross with commercial bank's name, he can't go and put it to the HNB bank. So first I should ask him, okay, Sunimal, ඔයාට මොන බැංකුවේද accounts තියෙන්නේ? In which bank do you have an account? HNB? Okay. I have commercial checks. The account is commercial. But inside the double lines, I'll put your bank's name. I'll put your bank's name. That is what special. So I have to write their bank's name. So who is giving the check? Port authority is giving a check to Sri Lanka Telecom. So Sri Lanka Telecom is having in the People's Bank. So we cannot write the BOC. They will not be able to take money. People's Bank. If not, you can just write the People's Bank name also. People's Bank. Fourth one. Vipula met with an accident while driving his father's motor vehicle, and Vipula informed it to the insurance company. Though Vipula requested the claim of the damage estimated by the insurance, by the insurance agent who came to the accident place, it was rejected. So first, what are they asking? What is the principle that the insurance company rejected the offer by the Vipula? Vipula, it's not your vehicle, Puta. It's your father's vehicle. So who has the insurable interest? Vipula's father, not Vipula. Not Vipula. So why they rejected? Because of insurable interest is not there. Insurable interest is not there for Vipula. It is there only with his father. So here they are asking us to identify the electronic communication process in the above case and write the example for sender message mode. Okay. Sender is Vipula. Message vehicle met with an accident. Vehicle met with an accident. Vehicle met with an accident. That's the message. What's the mode? Electronic. Electronic. Because he said telling using the phone. That's what we can say. Electronic verbal. What you can say verbal also. Then mode is done. Receiver. Who is the receiver? Insurance company. Insurance company. And what is the response? Response. Ennam puta ind. Informing about reaching the place. If not, getting the message. Informing about reaching the place. Feedback. Insurance agent. Reaching the accident place. Accident place. Done. So with that, we are completely done with the unit number 1 of grade 11. Okay. So we have to do only another 2 units in grade 11. Unit number 2 and unit number 3. Then we will be done with all the content and all the past papers. Grade 10 completely done. Grade 11 up to now what we have studied also will do that. Bye bye.